Here we go. Last Saturday show of the year. Um, we have no more Saturday games the rest of the way. Um, at least in the NFL. We do have XFL, but we won't be covering that on Saturdays. Sorry. We might cover
No,
it here on the show on Sundays, but
I would assume that XFL is going to be on Sundays like it would be for the
well, there will be
NFL.
Saturday
I don't
games
know.
too because they only have ESPN, ABC, and FX helping them out. So,
Right.
um,
So,
but
um,
either way,
I mean, before we get to the picks, I guess I'll give the XFL maybe a chance. Who knows?
I think the second one wasn't bad. I think just COVID ruined it. I mean,
Well,
I will say
well,
St. Louis did very well with the XFL. St. Louis was by far the best location for the XFL.
right. Plus, with everything that's going on with, Vince McMahon and all those allegations, not a great image that he would have,
Hmm.
been taking care of the XFL. It's probably better off in The Rock's hands anyway. So,
Yeah, but
yeah.
with that, let's get on to the picks. Our final Saturday picks of the year. The Jacksonville Jaguars are taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. That is the 4:30 game on Saturday. The Chiefs are favored by 9.5.
Mind you, Saturday, Trevor Lawrence has never lost a Saturday, any Saturday games in the high school, college, and the pros. So he has that to his advantage, but he also goes into very tough territory. He's playing up against the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that is not going to be easy to beat at home. Um, I'm going to let you know this now. Trevor Lawrence cannot throw 4 picks in the first half and be able to come back and win this game against Kansas City. That's just not happening. The Kansas City is way too good of a team to have that kind of game, come back out of the locker room, and be able to onslaught them in the second half. If the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to come into this game and be able to beat and upset the Kansas City Chiefs, you need second half Trevor Lawrence for the whole entire game. But I'm going to go with Kansas City only because they're at home and they're one of the toughest teams to beat in their home stadium.
At least in the playoffs. I mean, the Chargers, no offense, they make it look easy every single year. Minus this year.
Right. But Travis Kelce, I think it's going to be a little too much for the Jacksonville Jaguars. As much as I would love to see the Jacksonville Jaguars get the upset here, which could very well happen. I mean, playoffs, any given week, it's a whole different new season. You're basically, you know, 0-0 every single week. It's a brand new week a brand new season every single week when you're playing up in the playoffs. So who knows? Could get an upset. This Jacksonville team kind of reminds me a lot of that 2017
The last time they were in the playoffs.
Jacksonville Jaguars team. So
I don't know. I see. I will say Trevor Lawrence, like you said, never lost a game on Saturday. That's a fact. High school, college, NFL, he's never lost. Okay. He's going to Kansas City though, and like you said, he's playing in Kansas City against Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. There is no McCole Hardman, but there's still Travis Kelce. So that's going to be a big threat to them. How do they stop it? How do they stop Travis Kelce from tearing him up? The other question is going to be, and I think it's ultimately going to be the offense that's going to be the show for both sides. I really don't see the defense being the show. The offense will be the ones, because let's keep in mind, Doug Peterson and Andy Reid are two of the most creative coaches in the NFL right now.
mhm.
And you could say what you want, those two are the top two. So this,
Right.
I think 9.5. If this was the Jacksonville Jaguars team that played Kansas City early in the year, I would like those odds. But this is a whole new Jacksonville Jaguars team. I don't know what happened the second half of the year, but they're back. They look like a team that could take Kansas City. But
Right.
I don't see it happening today. I'm going to pick the Chiefs. Just because you don't pick against Patrick Mahomes when it's not, Cincinnati or Buffalo.
Right.
So, with that, another intriguing matchup later in the night, we'll have the Giants and the Eagles. The Eagles are favored by 7.5.
As much as the Giants looked very impressive against the Minnesota Vikings, I think that the run is going to end here. I think it's something to build upon, because I didn't even think that the Giants were going to get to the playoffs this year. 1. 2, I didn't think that, let alone that Brian Daboll would even win a playoff game in his, first season as a head coach. So, he can take this heading into next year, be able to build upon it, because I just think that Philadelphia is way too good of a team to beat, especially on the road. I'm going to go with Philadelphia here, but I just don't think that Philadelphia is that team that's going to probably make it to the Super Bowl. Of course, we'll talk about that next week, but here I'm going to choose the Eagles, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than I think it's going to be.
I'm going to go with the Eagles. Now, here's the thing. We got to look at a few teams in the playoffs. I mean, the Giants, the Seahawks, and frankly, the Jags, I would say, are teams that we really didn't have high expectations on going into the playoffs. We really had no expectation on them because nobody thought they were going to go there. So, win, lose, don't matter. I mean, they did better than anybody thought they were going to do. So, I'm not going to crap too much on the Giants. I will say they got a lot to look forward to in the future. But I think their magical run is going to come to an end here. And I think they're going to lose to the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly.
I agree.
So we go on to Sunday. Big matchup here. The rematch of the game that did not finish a few weeks ago. This time in Buffalo. Of course, it'll be the Bengals and the Bills. And the Bills are favored by 5.5.
I honestly, if there's any game that scares me a lot, it's this game. I would say if it was in Cincinnati, it would scare me a little bit more. But Buffalo, they have some, luck, and they do have undefeated streak, under advantage. Buffalo has never lost a home playoff game with Sean McDermott as head coach. But I really do think that I'm going to go with Buffalo here. I think it's going to be a very close game. I don't think it's going to be 5 or 6 points. I think it's going to be a field goal. I'm thinking another 34-31 game. This one's going to be a very high back and forth, high scoring, offensive juggernaut kind of game. Who knows? It could be like another Kansas City Buffalo game from like last year's divisional round. That could happen in this game. I would not even be shocked if we see the new postseason overtime rules come into effect in this game.
I could see that.
So I'm going to go with Buffalo. I think it's going to be a field goal. Who knows? Could be 7 points. But I'm going to say Cincinnati is no team to take lightly in this. But they also have a lot of injuries on the offensive line. So I think that might come to Buffalo's advantage. I think Buffalo is going to take that to their advantage. I think they're going to sack Joe Burrow a lot in this game and frustrate him. I think he's going to make turnovers. I'm going to say Buffalo just because of the banged up O-line.
Here's the thing. You're wrong, though. Nobody frustrates Joe Burrow.
I agree.
In case you haven't realized, he's Joe Cool. And I think, Joe Cool versus Mahomes January, January Mahomes, I would say Joe Burrow is better than Patrick Mahomes right now in terms of level of confidence, in terms
Mhm.
of just eliteness right now in the playoffs. I mean, Joe Burrow, it's just nothing gets to him. I mean, he played the entire playoffs last year without an offensive line. So if you think that's going to be an advantage, you're wrong at the end of the day because he's still going to find ways to get plays out.
No,
Um,
I mean, I agree. I do think
you
that
know,
he's used to having a
and
a banged up O line, but I just think that Buffalo
see,
has a great pass rush to be able to get after the quarterback in a way that a lot of other teams don't. Um,
I
I
mean, but
think
so
that
did the Rams.
Leslie Frazier needs to be very creative with his defensive play
Yeah.
calling against Joe Burrow.
But if you think you're
I
going to
think that
blitz him every play, you're dead
no,
wrong
no, no,
on it.
no. Honestly, Leslie Frazier, I think, has toned it back. He used to be the most blitz-heavy defensive coordinator, but this year they really
Yeah.
haven't blitzed a whole lot. They've been playing a lot more zone, and I think man to man than they have blitz, which is very smart. I don't think you want to go blitz heavy. You want to play a lot of zone in the NFL. So
At least
I
with
think that
quarterbacks
Buffalo
like these.
has, because
I mean,
a few years ago, Leslie Frazier used to blitz like 40 or 50% of the time.
it's still not
Now
as much
he
as Spags. Spags blitzes almost every play.
so
So,
um
but I am going to say streaks are made to be broken. That's where I was
uh,
going to go with this.
okay.
Listen, like
Yeah.
I'm just going to say this, if Joe Burrow gets through Josh, I think whoever wins this game is beating Kansas City next week.
Oh, I agree.
I'm just going to give away a spoiler right now by saying it. I think whoever wins this is going to beat Kansas City next week, or maybe Jacksonville. You never know. Um, but I would say if Joe Burrow wins this game, which is what I'm predicting, the Bengals win. But if Joe Burrow wins this game, he might just pass Josh Allen at this point in terms of, if you're going to rank quarterbacks in the league. I mean, granted, I think he's already there. But
Mm-hmm.
now, like, man, to the entire media now who worships the ground that Patrick Mahomes stands on,
Right.
maybe it's going to force them to take a step back and say, you know what? We talk so much about Patrick Mahomes and ride him so much, but this Joe Burrow guy is just like carving up some of the best teams in football, and he's owned them the last few times. Not, we can't include the Bills game, obviously, but I mean,
Right.
he has owned Patrick Mahomes the last couple games. So, but that said, I think it takes Joe Burrow up to that level where now he is the guy. It may switch to where it's now Burrow versus Mahomes is more the Brady versus Manning than Josh Allen versus Mahomes.
Right.
So that's something to watch.
That's why I say I think this is going to be a dogfight kind of game, kind of
Yeah.
like what was between Kansas City and Buffalo last
Hmm.
year. And it wouldn't shock me if you see overtime in this game.
I believe so.
I think we're going to see the overtime rules come to effect. Um, Now it'll be interesting to see if teams are going to try to get creative. Now that if a team that gets the ball first goes down and scores a touchdown, and the other team goes and scores, will we see the team possibly go for a 2-point conversion? It'll be interesting to see if that actually happens or not. But I think if
Could
you're
we
a
see
team
Team One
and you
go
go
for
down and
two?
score a touchdown, you would have to play it smart and get the do the extra point and then do sudden death that way.
Now, if there's a team like, say, the Bills that go down the field against like Cincinnati or Kansas City, do they go for two just because they know the Chiefs' defense can't keep up? and maybe taking the risk and saying, we're not afraid of Mahomes or Burrow, let's go for 2. But I guess we'll wait
Right.
and see how it plays out because we do have one more game to predict, and it is the Cowboys and the Niners. The 49ers favored by 4.
Yeah, I mean, unless somehow Brock Purdy slows down, which I do not see anytime soon, I'm going to go to the 49ers here. You're going to see them back in the NFC Championship game. Um, he's the hot hand. You got to go keep on going with a hot hand. He kind of has that very like Philadelphia Eagles, Nick Foles kind of, swagger to him for the 49ers.
And just to
I
think,
never would have thought I would see a 7th round, last pick in the NFL draft, go out and have the kind of impact that he's had. Because you can't tell me you've seen a lot of 7th round draft picks, especially a 7th round rookie, go out there and have the kind of year that he's had in a short time as being a starter. Beating the GOAT, going out there and winning these games. He's still, to my knowledge, he's still undefeated as a starter too. He's never lost as a starter. 49ers are like one of the best teams offensively and defensively right now. It's insane to see the kind of run that 49ers are having. If somehow this is the year for the 49ers and they go out on top and win it all, I think it's very well deserved. And I think if you're looking at Kyle Shanahan, you're thinking it's about damn time. So I'm going to go to the 49ers here. I think it's going to be a little bit closer. I mean, you can't really count out the Cowboys either, but I think that Cowboys also want revenge from last year's wild card game, so do not be shocked if this is like a dogfight kind of game where where both teams bring it. But the real question is, can the Cowboys understand the task at hand and use clock management to their advantage this time around, and learning from their mistake of last year where they had no time to spike the ball to be able to get the score to try to tie the game up, to head into overtime, because it was only 24-17. And honestly, I'm going to say this now, I think that's going to be the same score for this game. I think they're going to go above the line.
See, I'm still convinced that despite Brock Purdy's emergence as a quality starter for San Fran, I'm still convinced Trey Lance is going to be the starter next year. That's if he's not traded, because there are rumors now with
about the Tennessee Titans, yes.
Yeah, there's rumors swirling about the Titans, but I think it's all for naught. So I wouldn't be shocked. I
don't think so. If John Lynch is smart, he would keep Brock Purdy as a starter heading into next year and trade away Trey Lance.
See, but Trey Lance is the first-round pick, and he was drafted to be that franchise quarterback, whereas Brock Purdy is sort of just...
It would be kind of stupid to have him be benched for Trey Lance.
To be honest, to me, Brock Purdy, and I don't want to crap on him a whole lot, but Brock Purdy's a guy who's benefiting, to me, from having a great offensive mind, one of the greatest offensive minds in the game, in Kyle Shanahan. Okay, I really think you throw Brock Purdy on any other NFL roster, and look at what he's got around him. He's got Christian McCaffrey, he's got Deebo Samuel, he's got George Kittle. He's got no reason to not be successful right now. Okay, frankly, one of us could probably go in, and Kyle Shanahan could throw together a whole offense that would suit us. That's just how good Kyle Shanahan is. He's very adaptable to this. Whereas someone like Mike McCarthy, not so much. Mike McCarthy, I still am going to say he's one-dimensional.
Right. Shoot. If he can make Matt Ryan who, by the way, ever since that Super Bowl,
Mhm.
loss, has been. If he can make
Well,
Matt Ryan look good, I think he can make any quarterback
yeah.
look good at this point.
So, um, to be honest, I know
I
that the Cowboys had a very convincing win against the Tampa Bay Bucks, but I don't think we're going to see the repeat here. Okay, I think the big thing is I'm telling you, I'm calling Skip Bayless on this. He did not see a Super Bowl team right here. This was not a Super Bowl Dallas Cowboys team. Quit riding the hype train. Eventually, it's just going to kill you in the end. So, I got to go San Fran here. They're just all around a better team. So, um, and again, this is the second week in a row I picked against the Cowboys. So, we'll see if I get burned again.
Who knows? Like I said, any given week.
Yep. So, with that, that's our final Saturday show of the season. Of course, we'll have more probably next year if they do Saturday games again, which we know they will. Um, and that said, coming up tomorrow, we're going to talk. We got to talk the Chargers debacle. We got to talk the Bills and the rest of the NFL playoffs. We're also going to talk some of the vacancies. The new addition to FedEx Field. You'll want to stick around for this one. And then, of course, Tinkle on this. That's all coming your way. That'll be tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. We hope you'll tune in. And we'll see you tomorrow morning.